So can employers still use mandatory arbitration clauses? This is the final video in this short series about restrictive covenants. I'm Nancy Schick of Third Year Conflict Resolution. We're an employment law and mediation firm in New York City. And I've been talking about a lot of the restrictive covenants because we've seen a lot of changes in them. You've probably heard about some of them in New York City. We're talking about possibly even getting rid of at-will employment. But let's stick to mandatory arbitration clauses in this particular video. So are they still allowed? They are in most cases. However, there are some limitations, just like there are in some of these other situations. So one of the big ones that you need to be aware of, if you're not, is sexual harassment cases. We do not like them in New York. We don't like them having that mandatory arbitration because you can see what happened. A lot of those cases got swept under the rug and quietly settled, and then people didn't know how big the problem was. So from the public policy standpoint, yet again, we said no. They are optional, so you can still present them to an employee who has a sexual harassment case. And if that particular employee who has alleged or has been sexually harassed wants to do arbitration, because sometimes they would like to keep this quiet too, that's fine, but you can't make them do it against their will. And if you think about that, it's really not in your best interest to necessarily have that control over employees in the way that it used to be. It's just not going to fly the way it did years ago. So it's not really the culture that we want to necessarily promote either. And I know who I'm talking to. If you're watching my videos, I'm pretty sure that you fall in that group, right? You're not necessarily looking to create this master-servant type relationship with your employees. You know that you get more from them when you create employment as a partnership. So keep that in mind when you're doing your agreements and you're considering the provisions that you put in, including mandatory arbitration. If you aren't sure if your contracts, your employment contracts, or the various provisions within them are still going to be upheld, click that link below, schedule a consultation for a review. And in the meantime, keep listening with your third ear. For those hurts you can heal.